Hi guys, this is Ravenclaw What If. Welcome back to another What If story. Let's get right back into this What If. The next day, Inko and Izuku are in the car on their way to Ryoko compound with the main house looking like a old-fashioned Japanese manor in the vast wilderness. Her family owns the land around and the good portion of the forest belongs to the Ryoko's family. The only technology she has in her home is only electricity for the lights and kitchen supplies. She has a backup generator just in case the power goes out during a storm. They arrive at the dirt road leading to her friend's house. They drove through the narrow pathway and driving over a wooden bridge, finally getting to the manor. Inko got out of the car and let Izuku out. Izuku, now empty your pockets. Fine. As he pulled out several small metal orbs and handed over to Inko. And the bracelet, too. I'll give it back once I pick you up. As he took off the bracelet off his wrist and handed it over to Inko, as she placed it over her wrist for safekeeping. Inko, you're here. It's good to see you again. How's your morning been? It's been going good so far. Don't Don't worry about your little guy. He's in good hands. Son, listen to Ryoko. She will be taking care of you for a few days and no mischief. I'll be in touch. As she ruffled his hair and she got back in her car and drove off. After she said her goodbyes to her son and Ryoko. Ryoko gave Izuku the grand tour around the house, introduced him to the staff that keeps the place clean and tidy. As Ryoko sat at the dinner table with the young boy, as the staff brought the two some dinner, they began to eat, basically. Sometime during the middle of their eating dinner, how you like the food? Are you enjoying it? I hope everything's I hope everything's to your liking. My chefs are pretty good at their job. It's very good, Miss Pro Hero. I know you don't want to be here, but nevertheless, we should try to get to know each other. Your mother has informed me of your origins, and so did Principal Nezu. Why don't you finish your dinner and I'll run the bath. I'll run bath water for you, for your bath. Then tomorrow we could do something fun. Anyways, how is it like to travel in outer space, Izuku? I'm curious. It's quite enjoyable. It would have been it would be very lonely if I didn't have Alice. Who's Alice? I don't think I've, I don't think I've ever met her. She's the artificial intelligence I created. Like you probably already know, I have lived about 600 years old so far, and I'm still quite young for my species. I can't imagine being alone for so long, Izuku. I might not know I sorry, I might not know you very much, but I do wish to change that. Think of me as your aunt. You humans in your designations. I take it your species don't have family ties? Normally, no. I've heard of, I've heard some rare occasions some of my species do have family ties, as you described. But the bonds are never very close, as you humans, as you humans have. When it comes to the family unit, my kin don't raise their young like you humans do. I tend to forget. I tend to forget, despite how you look, how young you look. You've lived a long life compared to the rest of us humans of my kind. My kind mature faster than you humans. We are a military race. Before we were invaded and almost left to the brink of extinction, Izuku in her thoughts. The last part is a bit of a lie, but she doesn't need to know that. About time you figured out I was lying. It'd already be too late for your speeches. Ryuko saw the boy get up from the table. Thank you, thank you for dinner. As Izuku followed one of the staff to the bathroom to take a bath, then go to bed. After the relaxing bath, he retired for the night as he slept peacefully. Izuku has always been an early riser. As the boy got up and got dressed. He looked at the clock on the nightstand and it says it's about 4:30. The sun hasn't fully rise yet. Izuku noticed everyone is still asleep as he stepped outside in the yard as he gathered several small pebbles. He made them float all around him with his telekinesis. With his this is a typical training he does every morning to make sure he doesn't get rusty. Water starts to flow all around the pebbles in the air from a nearby pond that was in the front yard. While using his telekinesis, several pebbles around the area joined the rest of the pebbles floating around, swirling around Izuku. When Ryoko got up, she went to check if Izuku was up. When when she found out that he wasn't in bed, she panicked and ran around the house. The moment she stepped outside, she was relieved to see Izuku in the front yard, but she was surprised to see, basically see him hovering in the air as several pebbles and water swirling around him. As she sat there and watched Izuku display his power with his telekinesis, she was quite impressed. He has such control over his telekinesis. I tend to forget he's 600 years old. It's still amazing how much control he has over his telekinesis. It might not be a quirk, but it's still impressive nonetheless. I'm wondering if his telekinesis is. I'm wondering if the telekinesis is something to do with. Sorry. I wonder if the telekinesis he has to every one of his species has access to of his race. Izuku, sorry to interrupt you. It's breakfast. It should be done in the next 15 minutes. Understood, Miss Ryoko. As her eyeball raised at that being called by her hero name, she's not going to reveal her real name. Not yet, at least. She normally goes by Ryoko, so. What happened to Human? I came to realize you're not going to go away anytime soon, so I might as well use your hero name to identify you. Good, you're learning. I'll see you inside. As she turned around to head back to the house, the hero and the young boy was unaware they were being observed by a group of men with binoculars. The small group of villains finally found the home of the Dragoon hero, Ryoko, hopefully to find some sort of revenge, because how they made their little organization, small group of villains, made their life a living hell. The plan has changed, boys. You see the boy? We could definitely use him to lure her out. By the looks of it, he has some sort of telekinesis quirk. After the pleasant breakfast he had with Ryoko, he decided to take a stroll in the forest while Ryoko was doing some paperwork for her agency. Last minute paperwork, basically. Izuku followed the first trail he saw while walking into the forest. But the condition of the trail, it seems that it's been very well kept and traveled. The deeper he walked, the more nature he was able to witness, until he came across two rabbits playing around that caught his attention. Without realizing, he ventured off from the trail. He might be intelligent, but once something catches his eye, he is oblivious to everything else around him. After all, he's still a child, even though he's 600 years old. After the time he About time he finally heard something stepping right behind him as a crowbar was about to strike him in the face. He barely stopped it with his telekinesis from inches from his face. Who the hell are you supposed to be? Need some help over here, boys. Or need some help over here, basically. Izuku lifted the villain and threw him against a tree using his telekinesis. Izuku felt a surge of electricity going through his entire body as he falls down on one knee as he starts to breathe heavily, as several villains surround the boy, continually to shock him with electric staffs. He tossed several of the villains as they hit the trees. Pin him to the ground. The remaining villains that weren't tossed against the trees pinned Izuku down to the ground as they used chloroform to make the boy pass out. Pick the kid up. Let's get back to the van. Let's head back to the hideout and inform the boss. He's waiting for our package. I didn't expect the kid to be so dangerous. As they walked off with Izuku, several hours later, Izuku woke up in an unknown location, tied to a chair with some sort of device placed on his head, blocking his brainwaves from using his telekinesis quirk. It looks like the little elf is finally waking up. Allow me to introduce. Sorry. Allow me to explain your situation here, kid. That device on your head will stop any brain waves from you activating that fancy telekinesis of yours. Sit tight. If you be a good little boy, you might survive this. Second thought, someone with your abilities and your looks would catch quite a fee. Fetch you quite a price. Sorry, basically, fetch a penny price on the black market. I got a wicked idea. All right, lads, change of plans. We're still going to use the boy to lure the hero out. Once the hero comes to rescue the boy, it'll be unfortunate for the heroes. The boy would be long gone before that. Sir, I take it this is going to be a fake out, sir? Exactly. I don't want to kill the heroes. I want to make her suffer. Whoever this boy is, to her, imagine when she finds out that the boy is gone and she won't be able to rescue him. He'll drive her crazy. Sit tight, boys, and lay low. I have to make a few phone calls. Gag the kid and blindfold him. Well, my little elf, you're about to make me a whole lot of money. As the lead villain leaves the room, laughing, several hours has passed as the lead villain comes out of the room with a smile on his face. All right, boys, I want half of you to head to the ambush point. I want the rest of you to follow me. Knock the boy out. We're going to meet the buyer. I've already sent the information down the grapevine. It's only a matter of time before the heroes show up at the ambush point. The villains are unaware not only did they piss off the Dragoon hero Ryoko, but they managed to extremely piss off ex-villain turned hero Inko. I'll worry about her hero name later on, but let's get on to the what if. Inko met up with Ryoko at her agency after she interrogated a few villains that are connected to this group that took her son. She barely left the guy alive. Inko stormed up to the Ryoko's office. Where are they? We we just got the location, Inko. I should have never left him alone. I never imagined they would find out where I live. It's my fault. It's not your fault. None of us saw this coming, Ryoko. I don't blame you. What can you tell me about these people? These villains are a nasty sort. I've been trying to bring them down. I'm sorry. I've been trying to bring their little organization down for quite a while. They're into kidnapping children and selling them in the black market. This is the first time they target a hero family. They normally target orphans. Let's 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 go. Hold tight, Izuku. Your mother's coming to get you. Inko and Ryoko left the hero agency to the location where she thinks Izuku's at. They finally got into the abandoned factory. Inko uses her telekinesis to rip the door off the handles as she threw it behind him or behind her. Inko saw someone on a small chair, binded, gagged and binded, or covered. You basically. I'll explain that later. Here, let's continue. Inka ran over to pull the hood off, expecting it to be Izuku. Her eyes widened. It was a dummy. As the dummy had a planted bomb on it, as the timer was about to hit zero, Ryoko shifted her dragon form, shielding Inko from the explosion while Inko uses her telekinesis to throw the bomb deeper into the factory. Several villains outside of the factory start to firing off rocket launchers, hoping they would kill both heroes at the same time. Do you think we got them? Don't know, man. Boss would be really extremely pissed off if we killed them. Inko starts flying out of the destroyed factory with the Dragoon hero in tow. Open fire, kill the bitches. Inko reflects the bullets with her telekinesis, protecting her and her friend, Ryoko, while Ryoko knocks the villains out with her superior size, and Inka grabbed the only one of them that wasn't unconscious with her telekinesis and pulled him up towards her as she wraps her hand around the man's neck. Where is he? Doesn't matter what you do to me. The boy's far out of your reach, heroes. We won. You lost. She flew up with the villain in her hand. Where is he? Or I'll drop you. Not even I know where he is. I'm just a grunt. Even if I knew where the boy was, I wouldn't tell you. With pure anger, she floats down and smacks his head against the hard pavement as she knocks him out on the side of the street. We'll find him, Inko. Damn it! as she rips up the fire hydrant and tosses it into a nearby car, as she walks off to cool her head. As we cut back to Izuku, about time he regained consciousness again. He was already sold off. Izuku woke up in a pure white cell. When he took in his surroundings, he noticed several human kids in similar cells, all wearing white jumpsuits, including Izuku. He noticed some sort of black collar around his neck. He expects that is probably some sort of device, most likely just to suppress quirks. He's done a little research on this technology. He recognized the frame of it, but it seems a bit different. He's never seen this version before that he could dig up from the dark web. What knowledge he knows of the core canceling collars. He decided he was going to play this smart. The other humans might not be able to use their powers, but he's no human. So the collar won't have any effect on his telekinesis. He just had to play along for now. It seems like the red light on the collar signifies the collar's on. I'm guessing whoever runs this place has complete control over the collar. If it's on, when it's on or off. It's still unclear what this place is even meant for. It seems the humans in the lab coats are the ones in charge. What Izuku found on all the scientists and the staff aren't Japanese. Izuku isn't familiar with their nationalities. He still has much to learn about Earth. It would be a lot easier if I had Alice to figure out what's going on here, considering she's not here with me. I'm on my own for now. The one thing I need to, the one thing I need to find a chance to talk to someone, or one of these humans, that are in the same position I am. And by the looks of it, a few of them have been here for a while. He noticed several differ from age. Some are quite young at 6, some are in their teens. Not only he sees several humans wearing lab coats walking around, he also sees some humans wearing some sort of battle attire, carrying some sort of assault rifle. It's very primitive compared to what weapons he can create. Izuku expects these are some sort of guards. They seem to be patrolling the area quite frequently. This facility and staff seems militant. He has doubts that the Japanese government has any knowledge of this place. The one simple fact that there is no Japanese on staff that he's noticed. Even the mechanism on the cell seems quite advanced for human technology. It's some sort of force field technology, stopping Izuku from stepping out of the cell. Nowhere near what he can create, but it's still quite impressive for their level of intellect. Izuku noticed they're letting the kids out of the cells and leading them somewhere. They even deactivated his cell and put him with the rest of the kids. It seems that we're heading. It seems that we're heading them to some. Sorry. It seems that they were leading them to some sort of cafeteria. That the food is provided. After he got his food and examined the food a little bit, he smelled that the food is laced with some sort of drug. Ezekiel highly doubt the drug in the food would affect him in any way. After all, he's not even human. His body works totally different than the rest of this human species. Ezekiel saw a older kid by several years. He's unsure how old he is or his age. His age didn't caught his eye. The simple fact that he has burns all over around his face and body that caught his eye. And the blonde girl by his side, bright yellow eyes with slits in them like a cat. And the blonde girl seems to be a couple years older than what Izuku looks like. Hey, Dabi-kun, what is it? It seems we have a new arrival here. And the looks of it, he looks just like an elf. Dabi turned his head to look at Izuku. I'll be damned, the kid definitely looks like an elf. It must be some sort of mutation quirk. Toga, keep eye on that one. Aye, aye, sir. As she goes into a salutive posture, acting like she's in the military, Izuku noticed he's been noticed. Interesting. It seems like I've been spotted. I'll let them come to me and see what kind of information I could get out of them. Once I figure out what this place is, then I could come up with a strategy to escape. Whoever these people are, and whatever these people are, or what they're after, it can't be good. If I don't like what I see, I might have to destroy this whole place. A few weeks has passed as he's noticed some of the kids would be taken out of their cells in the dead of night and to never return. Despite the ominous actions of the grown-ups, a very hyperactive blonde would constantly bother him, ask him all sorts of questions. Despite her annoying attitude, it became quite enduring over the time he's been there. The girl has grown on him quite a bit, despite her annoying attitude half the time. After being there, after being in there for almost over 2 years, he came to realize that the heroes most likely won't come to rescue him or the other children. He doesn't hold a grudge against them. After all, Izuku knows this place is highly secured and it must be some sort of black ops operation. Not surprising, not surprising their existence of this place is kept under lock and key. Getting the hero's attention would cause them trouble. Whatever they're planning to do here, most likely the last thing they needed would be interrupted in their future plans by the heroes. Whatever they're trying to do here. One day, the guard removed Izuku from his cell, relocating him on the other side of the facility. And the guard pushed him into the one of the cells as he sees a familiar blonde and that older gentleman, that older kid that Toga hangs around constantly. The moment, sorry, the moment Toga saw Izuku, she rushed over to him and gave him a big hug. My favorite elf. This is going to be so much fun. I can't wait for our future slumber parties. As Dobby grabs the back of her collar from the jumpsuit and lifts her up. Sorry about her. She can be quite annoying. Welcome to the cool kids room. I have a sinking feeling you had something to do with my new residence. Toga said you're indeed that I am. Toga said you were quite clever. You're right, I had something to do with about your room being changed. We can talk about this later. It's unwise to speak on such things with so many eyes and ears on us. The first night Izuku was here at this facility, he knew this. He caught on that the cells were bugged and most likely had hidden cameras scattered all around the cells. Sorry, I need to silence that real fast. Give me a second here. As Izuku nods and lays down on the bed, it only took him a year, or actually, it almost took him about 2 years. He'd be finally be able to get some sort of answer from these people or from these his new roommates that are in the cell with him. The other people were no help in that regard. The other kids did not know anything or were too scared to reveal anything important. And Togo was very vague when he asked her questions, outside of her fascination with her blood. She was more willing to talk about that aspect, though. Most people would be unnerved by the topic, but he didn't mind too much. The day at the next day at the cafeteria, he gestured at Toga and Izuku to follow him as he picked up a lunch tray, and made his way to a couple of the older kids and dropped some food on top of their heads. As they walked past them, as a fight broke out between the two older kids, thinking he dumped some food on him on purpose, as Dobby walked to the far end of the room and sat down on the lunch table or the bench table to answer to answer any of the questions that the young boy has, making sure no one overheard no one overheard them with a good enough extraction so they could have their conversation without anyone interrupting them. First off, I might have been here the longest. I know some bits of information about this place. Not even I know exactly what their motives here are. I've seen many of the kids disappear, so I can tell you what I can. But what I have overheard by a couple of the crazy scientists here, they're doing some they're doing some illegal testing with quarks. Apparently some of these scientists are Island rejects. Apparently the scientists were very unethical, even for Island standards. So they got booted out by David Shield. Apparently several of them despise the man. I heard them bitching about it constantly. I'm guessing the kids that disappeared don't come back are most likely dead or whatever godforsaken experiments they had planned. They most likely were killed and most likely cut up to study the quark gene, at least. That's my theory. I would very much like to burn this fucking place to the ground. As Dobby finished what he was talking about, or finished speaking for the moment, maybe I could help. Maybe I could have some. Sorry. Maybe I could be some assistance in that. Oh, sorry. I do appreciate that thought. As long as we're wearing these nifty little collars, we're pretty much helpless. Sorry, guys. Really? What happens if I do this? As he made a fork float a little bit in front of Dobby, as his eyes widened, he made sure his collar was still on Izuku as he sees the red light. How? You have a core canceling collar on. How is this even possible? Dobby is complex, the situation, especially how they're wearing the new models that was developed by these crackpot scientists. Let's just say the collars don't affect me. If the collars don't work on you, the only question I have is why haven't you acted yet? Why haven't you tried to escape? That's a very simple question I can answer. I was curious what these people were doing here. You're telling me you haven't busted out of here just because you were curious? Indeed, even I know trying to escape by myself is pretty much impossible, no matter how powerful my telekinesis quirk is. How about you? You want to get out of here? You bet your, you bet your ass, elf boy. What about you, Blondie? I'm in. I can't wait. I can't wait. This is going to be so much fun. Do you think I'll be able to stab someone? I very much would like to see what their blood looks like, especially those crazy scientists. The only dilemma we have is the collars. I can handle that. As Dabi and Toga look at Izuku, I might have overheard a couple of things about the collars that they have, that they might have said out loud. The devices that are connected to the canceling collar devices are somewhat connected to a small command center. I should be able to deactivate the collars and disconnect the lock mechanism on it if I get access to the room. So, when do we act, elf boy? Tonight. If we're working together, at least we should exchange names. Name's Dobby. As you know, the crazy blonde over there is Toga. Name's Izuku. Very well, Izuku. I look forward to working with you, kid. What do you plan to do after we get out of here? We get the collars off. Kill everyone here, of course, and free the rest of the kids. Then escape. I'm definitely on board on that. I wouldn't expect anything else from my bestie, as she wraps her arms around Izuku from behind. I can't wait to have a long-awaited reunion with my parents. I must thank them properly for selling me off to these people. The evil smile Toga has on her face still creeps Dobby out, even though they've known each other for a couple years. It's still very unsettling to him. As that's where we're going to cut our part off. Hope you guys have a good night and day. Judge my time zones, and I'll catch you in the next What If.